Oh, even better.
I think my wife.
Good evening. This meeting is called to order. At this time, we will have the moment of prayer led by Commissioner Domas.
Thank you. And good evening. I'm going to read a prayer this evening called the Prayer of St. Francis, sometimes called the Prayer for Peace. And in these times and places, that is certainly something we should be praying for. Lord, make us instruments of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there's injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that we may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Commissioner Domas. This time, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Fiani.
Here.
Commissioner Drick.
Here.
Commissioner Helserman.
Here.
Commissioner Domas.
Here.
Commissioner Sample.
Here.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Here.
Commissioner Deaton.
Here.
Commissioner Panovich.
Here.
Commissioner Gross.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
So moved, Eaton.
Support, Domas.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The agenda is approved 9-0. We move on to employee recognition. This time it's my privilege to honor and recognize our retiring CFO, Cindy Arbanis, the Deputy County Administrator and Chief Financial Officer. I invite Administrator Bird up as well, and of course, Mrs. Arbanis. So it's my privilege to present you with this certificate of recognition this evening. It's truly been an honor to work with you this past couple of years, and we certainly all wish you well in your retirement. The Livingston County Board of Commissioners honors the distinguished career of Cindy Arbanis, who has devoted 20 years to strengthen the county's financial foundation. Throughout her tenure, Cindy demonstrated unwavering integrity and strategic vision. She led the implementation of the county's Munis ERP system with exceptional skill and foresight, modernizing financial operations. She also addressed legacy pension expenses with diligence and long-term planning, positioning the county for sustainable fiscal health. Cindy's reliability and attention to detail are second to none. When questions arise, she either has the answer immediately or knows precisely where to find it. While she makes the annual budget process appear seamless, her work reflects an extraordinary level of preparation, precision, and dedication. That is so true. Through her wise and responsible budgeting practices, Cindy's efforts have placed Livingston County in a remarkably strong financial position, as evidenced by healthy fund balances and the prestigious AAA bond rating. For the past 8 years, the county has earned the GFOA's Distinguished Budget Award, a testament to Cindy's steadfast commitment to transparency, accountability, and clear, effective communication. Her collaborative spirit has enabled her work to work effectively with numerous commissioners, administrators, and department directors throughout her career. During times of transition, Cindy was a source of stability and leadership, twice serving as acting county administrator in addition to her responsibilities as chief financial officer. Her warm personality, ability to authentically create personal connections, and fun sense of humor will be sincerely missed. Therefore, let it be known that the Livingston County Board of Commissioners hereby recognizes and commends Cindy Arbanis for her profound contribution to the county's growth and success. Cindy, you leave behind a legacy of the highest standards of fiscal management that will continue to serve our community well into the future. May you have a retirement filled with happiness, health, and relaxation. Congratulations.
Hello. We threw a rager of a party for Cindy earlier. And I got to speak at that party, so I'm not going to be super repetitive, but I do want to just say that without being overly dramatic, this is probably the worst thing that's ever happened to you leaving Cindy. Everything that Chairman Fiani said is exactly true. And if you look at where we're at financially over the last 2 decades, she's really been the engine behind getting us there. And she's worked so effectively with numerous different commissioners, numerous administrators, very admirably. And I told our directors a few weeks ago that I think if there were a Livingston County staff Mount Rushmore, and I'm going to talk to Mayor Toby about Mount Brighton, that she would be on it. I actually believe she's been that impactful for us as a county. And so what Chairman Fiani shared at the end about the 2 times she served as acting county administrator, those are gonna be things I remember a lot about her because that's a tough job to go into. And so it's usually following a tragedy or some unexpected absence. And she handled those instances with great poise and dedication. And when you have somebody who is a CFO and has her own department and has her own staff, and they're willing to answer that call and step up and serve and help the county out, that's somebody who's not just dependable or not just nice to be around. That's somebody who's actually a rock of your operation. And so we're losing a piece of our foundation, but she has earned her retirement. She's gonna be in a much warmer place, South Carolina. And so we're happy for her, and we will miss her very much. And we hope that you'll stop by from time to time. Thanks, Denny.
Nathan, do you want to come up here?
You're not really leaving, I just- You really are? This is not a.
Not a fake thing.
Not a fake. All right.
All right. Hold on just a second. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Next item on the agenda for this evening is the correspondence. Is there a motion to accept and place on file the correspondence regarding A, B, and C?
Motion to approve or place on file correspondence 7A, B, and C sample.
Support Deaton.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved. We now open up the call to the public. Each person will have 3 minutes to address the board. This is a one-way conversation, so the board is not permitted to answer questions. Oh. Did I skip something?
No?
Who do we have first?
I've got Steve Williams from Marion Township, followed by Mary Ann Barger.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I was checking your timer.
It's a good thing he has long legs.
We're dancing loud.
Good evening, Commissioners. I got here early enough today to drop your packets off at the desk. This is not a printout of the email that I sent you earlier. I think I provided ample proof of the abilities that the Board of Commissioners has and has exercised in the past to comment on judicial matters within the court. So if you want to talk to me about that later, you can. 34 pages. We're not gonna be able to get through all this in 5 minutes tonight, so I would ask that you bring it back to your next meeting. But the reason there's a police car on the front, and like I've told you, what's going on in the Brighton court doesn't just affect my family, it affects a lot of families. It doesn't just affect the court department or even front of the court, it affects other departments. So we had a family vacation scheduled. As I've told you before, the birth father has taken away time just in the last year, the birthday, Easter for the second time in a row, a few more days. So my wife always has a day or two in her pocket of makeup parenting time. The reverse is not true. Since this case has come to the county, my wife has never kept the boy and had to give up parenting time. All right, so we did this. She notified the birth father that we were going. He showed up at the school in Pinckney, called the Pinckney cops. We had to answer that. Fortunately, we had these documents that I gave you on the phone. We were able to email them to the police officer. The next thing you know, we're in Florida getting calls from the Livingston County Sheriff. That's who you see in my driveway on the front of this packet, right? So then we had to explain that all over again. The documentation is there. And I don't hear Mike Murphy complain about this all the time, but it seemed like Bob Zell was constantly talking about how shorthanded the road patrol is. So this is an officer that killed at least an hour driving out there for no purpose whatsoever. And on top of that, you remember that lawyer guardian ad litem, Melanie Schwarza? So we had a court date on the 28th or on the 19th. We came back the day before the court date. She filed out the motion that you see in here. She talked with the birth father. She bought his whole line of BS. She never contacted my wife. She put this in front of the judge, and it's nothing but absolute lies. Because again, my wife did notify him. She used the Our Family Wizard, which the court has ordered, and Judge Longsworth has reiterated to use that. The documentation was there. The notification was there. There was no taking the child outside of her parenting time. And not only did it waste a lot of county time, but I have to pay this no good lawyer to write up these lies that are in your packet, to present them to the judge, to only have them turned back. And she won't read the email that I wrote, so my wife has to send an email, but she won't talk to my wife about it, even though right there in the packet at the end, when you look at what was the appointment orders, it says that the LGAL is supposed to talk to both parties. I'll see you at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Ann Barger from Cohocton Township, followed by Lena Epstein.
Well, hello, gentlemen. And there are so many things about Livingston County that I'm kind of upset about. We can go with the gas, the roads, and all of it. And I don't see any of you even talking about the data centers and what it's going to do to our town or our county. And all these things will play, and our judicial system too. I'm sorry. Thank God it's not me, like I was telling them. It's people that I know that are going through this. This girl, 37 years old, has got 3 kids, and she's got, she's going through, she's had cancer. They're making her go twice a week for an alcohol test because she took her daughter's phone away and the cops decided to arrest her. How dare this happen? And I just want it to be a good county again. I used to love this place. We had nice country and people got along and everybody was happy. Now all I see is racing cars going down the road, and the roads are terrible. They have $1 million a week and I still have a dirt road? Come on, what? It just doesn't make any sense, gentlemen. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got Lena Epstein from Bloomfield Hills, and with her, we're going to have Jeff Badalucco from Novi, Michigan.
Good evening, commissioners. It's an honor to be in front of you tonight and a true joy. I'm Lena Epstein here on behalf of Vesco Oil Corporation and our new subsidiary, our new sister company, Vesco Clean Energy. The gentleman to my right is Jeff Badalucco, who is an extraordinary member of the team, a product matter expert. And so tonight we just wanted to introduce the new offering to Livingston County at a very high level. Vesco Oil has been doing business in Livingston County for many generations now. My sister Lily and I, as the current and future owners of the organization, identified used battery collection services as the next opportunity for this particular business. We've been walking by used batteries for decades and really were not able to fully support our customers. Today, Vesco Clean Energy offers tremendous used battery recycling services, and we would be honored to present this offering to you and Livingston County. There is no used battery that we will not collect. There is no amount of batteries that's too small or too large. We handle very obscure cases, and at the very, very minimum, at the very least, we will be of service to Livingston County in assessing and understanding how you handle your used battery services. I'll turn the rest of my time over to Jeff Badalucco. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Lena, and appreciate y'all taking the time. One of the things I want to really impress on people is when I'm talking batteries, I think we think the car batteries, we think EVs, but really the ones that are affecting counties and from like a liability standpoint, like insurance, those are your rechargeables. Those are your laptops. Those are your, your cell phones, your tablets. EVs are a challenge, especially if they get dropped off in like a dump or something like that and run over and damaged. So where the money's coming in, where the liability issues are, I think from probably your standpoints, are going to be how we can take care of this for our residents. There's a lot of regulation around moving around lithium batteries, which is primarily the cost issue when you're looking at collections. And we come from a long line of folks who've been doing this a long time. Previously, Battery Solutions out in Wixom, we worked there for a little while. So a lot of people started this. And so there's a lot of experience I think we can offer, even if just, hey, what do we do with this? We have a resident who has an EV or, a power and ESS battery, like for power for your home. There's a million different form factors. I could get down in the weeds forever, but just overarching, it's a service we can provide: education, collection, the logistics portion, sorting. There's a lot that goes into this, but again, we're working obviously very closely with the family and with Vesco Oil, and we'd like to give back to our local communities and help out. So all my contact information if you need it, and appreciate you taking the time.
I'm going to take the last moment just to say that we will handle all of the hassle for you. It will be turnkey, and we are attracting the hearts and minds of lots of municipalities around the state in this regard, and I too remain open to receive all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Angela Barbish from Howell Township, followed by Stephanie Booth.
Good evening. I serve on the Howell Township Resident Research Committee studying data centers, data center development. I'm also the Chief Operating Officer and Chief Compliance Officer of a values-driven investment management firm. And we frequently study industrial impacts on communities. So this is a little bit of my bailiwick. I want to acknowledge that the Planning Commission has been very thoughtful. I was with the Planning Commission last week, and they were able to share that data center section is being inserted into the updated master plan draft, and we appreciate that. That foundation is important, and tonight I want to build on it by addressing a specific risk that I've been raising at both the Township and County Planning Commission meetings, as well as the Township Board and now County Board, and that's technological obsolescence. This is the second risk that I've addressed so far. You may recall that last month I was talking about concentration risk, and then I'm going to go on to start talking about financial risk and mitigation strategies for financial risk. There's been some recent market developments. 3 weeks ago, SpaceX filed an application with the FCC to launch up to 1 million satellites for space-based data centers. 5 days later, the FCC accepted it for public comment, unusually fast for a project of this magnitude. 2 days after that, SpaceX completed the acquisition of xAI, which is the largest merger in global history at $1.25 trillion. Elon Musk is now publicly stating that within 30 to 36 months, space-based computing will be the most cost-effective option for AI infrastructure. I'm not a physicist. I don't know if that's real, if that's the way it's going to pan out, but that's not the only solution being explored right now. The data center industry faces continuous pressure from communities to improve energy efficiency and reduce environmental impact. As this industry responds to becoming more efficient, things like space-based computing or deep ocean computing are on the table. Across Michigan, we're looking at approving ground-based facilities that have a 20 to 30-year operational lifetime, while market players are putting $1.25 trillion into solving this problem in different ways. What this can lead to is fiscal imprudence and stranded assets. Risk management is a fundamental component of financial responsibility. In my professional experience, the most dangerous risks are the ones we see coming, but we don't adequately prepare for. While the county cannot set zoning policies for townships, you do set the tone for business development in our municipalities. The resources and model ordinances that are being compiled are valuable. I'd encourage you to ensure that they specifically address technological disruption analysis. I look forward to coming back and continuing to talk at the county and the planning commission levels. I look forward to having one-on-one conversations with anybody who's interested about risk management. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last card I have is Stephanie Booth, City of Howell.
I wanted to express my disappointment once again that you would use this platform as a campaign stop for a representative. I don't care what you put with your name, an R or a D, that's not legal and it's not right. I know you'll say the opposite, but that was just pure nonsense. The same person put pressure on the Howell School Board to not have a what they call a walkout in protest of ICE. This person is basically stepping way out of line and interfering with our local First Amendment rights and also obvious campaign violations. And I also am not surprised whatsoever that no one has come out against data centers that I can see anyway, overtly, the way you did solar. So that's very telling to me. I have a very conservative friend, and we both talked about the fact that GOP and elected officials essentially have been silent on this issue, which is, to me, speaks a lot that you're just willing to go with the flow, whatever the thought of the day is about whatever your leader tells you to do. So I think I encourage some independent thinking on data centers outside of what the status quo tells you, whether it's our governor, the president. It's a real issue that affects a lot of people. And being the wealthiest county, yes, we have terrible roads. We have, look around. I mean, if you ever bother to, it's apparent that you're not taking care of your average citizen here.
Thank you.
I have no further cards.
Thank you. Do we have anyone on Zoom who wishes to participate in the call of the public?
Yes, Commissioner, I have Lisa R.
You could just state your name and municipality, please.
Hi, I'm Lisa Rosmarnovich from Hamburg Township. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight, Commissioners. I did want to raise a concern about the data centers in our state as a whole, but particularly Livingston County. I am not an expert on data centers, but I feel like I'm an expert of Livingston County. I've been here for 57 years. I've owned 3 homes out here, and I have major concerns, number one, with water resources. Number 2, with our electrical grid. We have horrible electrical service in this county. At least I know I do in my area, where I lose power frequently. And I believe that our grid is not going to be able to handle what's coming in data centers if we have them. Additionally, I feel like I know what the end result is of data centers, which is surveillance. And we see the cameras on our freeways already. We're going to have surveillance all over this county, and I am a monger for freedom and my right to have my privacy. And so I just wanted to let you know how I feel about the data centers, and I hope that you will continue to support the non-rezoning. Additionally, one more thing, we do have a housing shortage in our county, as I'm sure you're all aware. We could use that land to support housing for families to continue to build our county as a family-friendly county. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on Zoom?
No, Commissioner, I do not see anybody.
Okay, thank you. At this time, the first call of the public is closed. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes dated January 26th, 2026 and February 9th, 2026?
So moved.
Support, Nakagiri.
Moved by Commissioner Domas and supported by Commissioner Nakagiri. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The minutes are approved, 9-0. We have no tabled items this evening. The next item on the agenda is the FOIA appeal. All the commissioners have received the FOIA appeal. Is Mrs. Amy James, on behalf of EWU Media LLC, present this evening? Is there a representative on behalf of Mrs. James or EWU Media?
Yes, Commissioner. Yes, Commissioner. Sorry, I had to unmute myself, but my name's Amy James, and I'm here on behalf of EWU Media LLC.
Okay, well, welcome this evening, Mrs. James. What we'll do this evening, we'll proceed with the FOIA appeal. I'm going to invite Under Sheriff Pless up. He's representing the Sheriff's Department this evening. The way the FOIA appeal will work is, Mrs. James, you will have 10 minutes to present your case. Then Under Sheriff Pless will have 10 minutes to present his side on behalf of the Sheriff's Department. And then you will have 5 minutes to conclude. Any final thoughts?
Okay, perfect.
So at this time, you may proceed, and I will start the timer, and you have 10 minutes to present to the board.
Great, thank you so much. So good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Amy James, and I'm the Head of Operations with EWU Media LLC. EWU Media is a media organization focused on investigative storytelling and public safety education. In addition to journalism, we actively support search and rescue awareness and research efforts through Divas AI, a community-powered platform designed to assist in analyzing drone imagery and coordinating search intelligence during missing person incidents. Divas AI was built by EWU to support real-world search and rescue missions by combining public participation with AI-assisted tools that help identify patterns, environmental anomalies, and geographic progression in time-sensitive cases. The goal is simple: improve how searches are conducted, reduce time lost, and ultimately increase the likelihood of recovery. To improve future search efforts, we must be able to study and understand how real-world searches unfold. This includes time sequencing, officer observations, environmental context, and spatial progression. The records at issue in this appeal directly relate to those elements. Our former counsel originally submitted this appeal on our behalf. Due to changes in representation, I'm appearing today to bring this appeal directly to your attention. The appeal is brought under Michigan Freedom of Information Act, specifically MCL 15.240, regarding FOIA request number R001200120325 for the in-car audio and video from Deputy Murdo in the Jerry Spalding missing person case. Michigan FOIA begins with a clear statement of purpose that all persons are entitled to full and complete information regarding the affairs of government, and that the act must be interpreted to promote disclosure. Before addressing the redactions, I would briefly note the procedural history to demonstrate our diligence and good faith. The request was first submitted in July of 2025 and later directed to the agency's FOIA portal as instructed. We complied. The agency issued a statutory extension. We received invoices totaling several $100s, including deposits and additional processing fees, and we paid all required amounts promptly. Partial records were released. We were informed that the agency does not utilize body-worn cameras. When the written report referenced in-car video, we followed up. We were initially told no dash cam footage was uploaded. We then submitted a new request specifically for the in-car video. That request generated an additional invoice, which was paid. The in-car video was then uploaded with redactions and a partial denial citing Section 13 exemptions under MCL 15.243, including privacy and protected health information, or PHI. We later confirmed that no additional records were pending. This appeal concerns the scope of redactions applied to the in-car video based on the statutes that were stated. We acknowledge that FOIA permits redaction of legitimately exempt material. However, the statute requires more than a general citation to an exemption. Under MCL 15.2355, a denial must provide a specific explanation of the basis for the exemption. Under MCL 15.2441, if a record contains exempt and non-exempt material, the public body must separate the exempt material from the non-exempt and make the non-exempt material available. In reviewing the video, several redactions appear broader than what has been specifically articulated. Audio examples from approximately 4 minutes 22 seconds to 4 minutes and 32 seconds have the audio fully muted. Similarly, from approximately 12 minutes and 55 seconds to 13 minutes and 1 second, additional audio is muted and replaced with extended beeping that interrupts continuity. At approximately 3 seconds into the video, 2 separate large black redaction boxes are visible. The county indicated that redactions were limited to the deceased individual, but the presence of 2 distinct redaction areas in one clip suggests that additional material beyond the deceased was obscured. Additionally, all addresses in geographic context appear to be redacted, making it impossible to reconstruct the spatial progression of the search or determine how far the individual traveled. For journalism, that prevents accurate reporting of how a public safety response unfolded. For search and rescue research, it removes critical structural data, including geographic progression and field observations. Those are necessary to improve future search modeling. Individually, certain redactions may be justified, but collectively the scope of redaction removes structural context necessary to understand the public safety response. If the county believes that the muted segments contain protected health information under MCL 15.2431I, we respectfully request clarification as to what specific category of protected health information exists within those timestamps. FOIA places the burden on the public body to justify each exemption, and exemptions must be narrowly construed. We are not requesting medical records. We are not requesting any graphic details. We are requesting that redactions be limited to truly exempt material so that the remaining non-exempt content, which the statute requires to be disclosed, can be meaningfully understood. We also respectfully request confirmation on the record that the Sheriff's Office does not utilize body-worn cameras and that no additional responsive audio-visual recordings exist for this incident. Under MCL 15.2404, the burden remains on the public body to sustain the denial. We respectfully ask the board to apply FOIA statutory standards, presumption of disclosure, narrow construction of exemptions, and segregation of non-exempt material, and to require production with narrowly tailored redactions. Transparency strengthens public trust, and learning from real-world research responses strengthens future public safety outcomes. In both journalism and search and rescue research, the ultimate beneficiary is the public. We respectfully request reversal of this partial denial. Thank you for your consideration and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Under Sheriff Plus, you have 10 minutes to present.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. In response to their inquiry, we did make redactions to the officer's in-car video. I believe that was the only thing that they they did not like about the response was the fact that the video had been redacted. The sheriff's office did provide a detailed listing of the items that were redacted. These items are what we redact from every report that is requested under FOIA, such as the homeowner's address, family members' birthdays, telephone numbers, cross streets that would help identify the home on the video. Private information, health information that family members disclosed about the subject and about themselves that we feel are private matters and not subject to FOIA. So we believe our response was appropriate to the requester. We did end up, like I said, itemizing the reasons why those redactions were made and provided that back to the requester. So we feel we are compliant with the law. As to the body cam, I can state that we do not have body cameras. There were some instances in this deputy's video where he was far enough away from the car where there was a connection issue and maybe you could only hear his in-car radio on the microphone because he was inside the home and maybe his mic pack went out of range. There was also instances where unrelated police radio traffic, including personal information belonging to other people that were involved in traffic stops, et cetera, were also redacted from the report.
Thank you, Under Sheriff Pless. Mrs. James, you will have 5 minutes if you wish to share any final thoughts.
Yes. So my final thoughts would just be we appreciate him mentioning that an itemized listing was provided. However, the last communication with our former attorney did list that there were only very few redactions that were provided in there. And it's unclear to us, due to all of the muting that was going on there in the video, whether or not this was actually protected health information that was being, or privacy information that was being muted. I may have to look at the redaction log again, or maybe we can get another redaction log sent over. We just want to ensure that the scope of redactions doesn't exceed what is necessary to protect those specific categories. Similarly, redacting specific phone numbers of family members and information may be justified, but muting entire audio segments removes contextual observations beyond those identifiers. And we appreciate you verifying that body-worn camera was not utilized. And I would just like to add another reminder that while we're a media outlet, this information is really going to be used and assist us in our research and development of our search and rescue platform, Divas AI.
Thank you. I will ask commissioners if anyone has any questions or items for discussion for either Under Sheriff Pless or Mrs. James. It appears there are no questions or comments. Commissioner Hauserman?
It seems to me that it's only a question of the degree of redactions. I don't understand that that they're objecting to some redactions, and it's a matter of judgment which redactions are to the degree of the redactions. And so at this point, I trust the judgment of our sheriff, under sheriff, and those that are dealing with this. And so unless there's some other, specific reason why left should be redacted, I don't see any reason for approving the appeal.
Thank you, Commissioner Hauserman. So we have the option of approving the appeal or denying the appeal. Is there a motion to deny the appeal?
Motion to deny the appeal, Sample.
Support, Helserman.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The appeal is denied. Thank you, Under Sheriff Pless, for attending. Thank you, Mrs. James, for presenting this evening and attending our meeting. The next item on our agenda this evening is reports. Do we have any board reports? Commissioner Gross.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to report that last Friday morning, I attended the annual meeting of the Human Services Collaborative Board. And it was a very, very good couple of hours. And there were presentations made by several county employees, and there were a number of county employees present there. And there were 16 work group updates on various aspects of services that are sponsored by the HSCB, including mental health awareness, homeless continuum of care, hunger council, home health and safety coalition, foster care, adoption and kinship, abilities alliance, leadership council on aging, funding partners, substance use disorders, transportation coalition, community needs assessment, and Great Start Livingston. And I was particularly impressed by the presentation by the folks regarding Great Start Livingston. They work with children from the age of 0 up to 5, getting them ready for kindergarten. And it was a great experience to be there. And I've got a copy of the program and their booklet in each of your mail slots, so you'll be able to see that. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gross. Commissioner Deaton.
This one's a little more on the lighthearted side. Christmas of 2025, Farms Intermediate wrote Christmas cards to all the veterans at the Brighton American Legion. And I reached out to them and said, hey, we'd like to come back and thank you after Christmas sometime. And so we looked at February because it was Americanism Month. And so I asked the honor guard to come with me. We had 60 kids in a classroom, and we showed them the proper way to fold an American flag. We also told them what the meaning of the 13 stripes were, which they already knew. I think they knew more about it than we did. And we were also barraged with questions about being a veteran. And that was everything from did we like the food to where we slept. And so it was a lot of fun. The kids got a chance to see some good Americanism, and then the American Legion donated an American flag to each one of the kids for them to take home to their families and practice folding. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Excellent. Thank you. Commissioner Helserman.
There's a icon landmark in Fowlerville that's being torn down this week. It was the Fowlerville High School when I went to high school, then became Munn Middle School. And I remember seeing this building be put up. And especially the structure of the gym was quite, it was the most eye-catching of the school. They're tearing it down, and it's sad to me that the gymnasium, which I think could be easily taken down and put up someplace else, the school has not seen fit to do that, though there were several community people interested in that. If you were ever in that gym, it seems like an easy takedown and an easy rebuild. And I've been working on that and not been able to make any headway, and looks like in a week or so, it'll be a moot point. So, but it's, time passes. Things that were very nice when you were in high school happened a long time ago, so.
Thank you, Commissioner Helserman. Commissioner Gross.
If I may, I thought of something while Commissioner Deaton was talking about his activity with the veterans. I had a learning experience last week that I'd like to share. My wife and I have had a flag on our house for several years, and we noticed recently that it was tattered and not looking very, very bright, very worthwhile. And so we bought a new flag, which is up. And my wife said to me, well, what are we going to do with the old one? And I said, well, historically, we turn it over to the Boy Scouts and they will burn it at some event. And I subsequently found out that they no longer need to be burned. What you have to do is make sure that they are no longer a flag. And so that involves taking your scissors and separating the field of stars from the field of stripes. And when you do that, it is no longer a flag and you can dispose of those pieces in your trash. So it was very interesting to learn that, and I followed up on that advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner
Or
Deaton.
you can bring them to the American Legion and we can have the Cub Scouts intern them properly and they get a merit badge for it.
Oh, very good. All sorts of education tonight.
Thank you, Commissioners. Next up is the resolutions for consideration. Is there a motion to adopt resolution approving an appointment to the Sanitary Code Board of Appeals? Seeking a motion.
So move Deaton.
Second, Sample.
Moved by Commissioner Deaton and second by Commissioner Sample. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The resolution is approved 9-0. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution to accept a Michigan Accreditation Readiness Mini Grant from the Michigan Public Health Institute to support strategic planning?
So move Deaton.
Support, Helserman.
Any discussion? May we have a roll call? Oh, Commissioner Drake.
Director Bolang, there was one word that popped out on the MDHSS page 1, where it said there'll be 3 awards awarded throughout the state, and one of the activities to be completed relative to accreditation readiness is integrating equity throughout the health department. But that's the only place it's mentioned. Do you think that's one of the driving forces behind this, or it's just a little bit of?
No, I mean, you see my proposal in the packet. They're pretty open to what we were planning to do. We're just planning to hire a consultant, to go through our strategy planning process, but yeah.
Analysis.
Yeah, I mean,
Nothing about-
those sorts of things. No, yeah, wouldn't worry about that part.
Thank you.
Yep.
May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Deaton,
Yes.
Commissioner Panovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Gross.
Yes.
Commissioner Helserman.
Yes.
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Nakagiri.
Yes.
Commissioner Direct.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Matt.
Director. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the board chair to sign a letter of understanding regarding work shift start times?
So move Sample.
Support Deaton.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The resolution is adopted 9-0. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing annual CPI price adjustment with Canteen Services, Inc. to provide inmate food services?
So moved, Drick.
Is there a second?
Second, Sample.
Any discussion? May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Direct.
Oh,
Commissioner Gross.
Commissioner Gross.
My hand up, thank you. I just wanted to comment that when we first saw this resolution several months back, there was some concern about the CPI index that was used. And I appreciate Vice Chairman Drick following up on that and reaching an agreement with the vendor on a CPI index that's more appropriate for our county. So thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. We may proceed with the roll call. Thank you.
Commissioner Direct.
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Panovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Gross.
Yes.
Commissioner Helserman.
Yes.
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution of intent to apply for financial assistance for fiscal year 2027 under Act 51 of the Public Acts of 1951 as amended?
So move Deaton. Support Deaton.
Moved by Commissioner Domas, supported by Commissioner Deaton. Any discussion? May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Domas,
Yes.
Commissioner Sample,
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri,
Yes.
Commissioner Drick,
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton,
Yes.
Commissioner Panovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Gross,
Yes.
Commissioner Helser.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing capital expenditure for the purchase of 2 replacement vans?
So moved Eaton.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Deaton and supported by Commissioner Domas. Any discussion? May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Deaton,
Yes.
Commissioner Panovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Gross.
Yes.
Commissioner Helserman.
Yes.
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yes.
Commissioner Drick.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution to optimize pension funding via strategic asset transfer?
So move, Helserman. Support. Nakagiri.
Moved by Commissioner Helserman, seconded by Commissioner Nakagiri. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is resolution is adopted 9-0. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the retention of an independent actuarial consultant for pension debt forensics and strategic oversight?
So move, Helserman.
Support Domas.
Any discussion? Commissioner Gross.
Yes, I have one concern about this. Do we have any idea what this consultant project might cost us?
I know Commissioner Nakagiri was the author and sponsor of this resolution, so I'll turn the floor over to Commissioner Nakagiri.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, the resolution would authorize a request for proposal. So there is no dollar value assigned to it yet. So we will get the proposals, we'll see what they want to charge, and then we'll be looking at another resolution for whatever the specific proposal that is presented to us by county administration.
Thank you for that. My concern on this is that the resolution states that the funding for these services will be allocated from the interest savings that will be generated by an asset transfer. And when we do an asset transfer, I believe there will not be any savings in this calendar year because the rates that we're paying MERS now are fixed for this calendar year. So there would not be any savings realized until next year. So that means if we hire a consultant and he finishes the job this year and sends us a bill, we'll have to find some way to pay for it. Drawing out of the general fund contingency or some other source, because we won't have savings funding available until next fiscal year.
Would the commissioner be satisfied if we said effective 2027?
That would work.
And as author, Commissioner Nakagiri, what do you think? Will it take until 2027 to get the bids back?
No, I don't. I anticipate it'll happen this year. In fact, my desire is it would happen this year, so we have the information available as it may or may not impact our budgetary decision, what we vote on budget-wise this year.
I would say it's my understanding that based on this proposal, the cost is going to be very minimal. And it could be absorbed by this year's contingency if the board even decided to move forward. And if it were absorbed by this year's contingency, that could essentially be replenished through potential future savings. At least that's my train of thought, and that's my understanding in a one-to-one conversation with Commissioner Nakagiri.
I understand that there's potential to pay for that out of this year's contingency, but off and on, we've heard reference to using that contingency fund for a variety of things. My concern is that this what we're going to ask a consultant to do is very specialized, and I don't know what the folks would charge in terms of rates, but there's potential that this could be a sizable bill. And that's my concern. Thank you.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And as we all should know, you should not trust your life to AI. But I did pose the question to AI and, give me a ballpark cost of doing this. And AI came back in the $15,000 to $35,000 range. So, but like we will get a chance to assess that when we get the proposals in and see what we're getting for our money. But in terms of ballpark, I'm comfortable sharing that ballpark with you.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Resolution is approved, 9-0. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution to authorize issuance of limited tax general obligation bonds, Series 2026?
So moved, Nakagiri.
I heard moved by Commissioner Nakagiri and supported by Commissioner Helserman. Any discussion? Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yeah, I put together a 7-slide PowerPoint presentation on work that I had completed over the weekend and then, towards the tail end of last week. And I wanted to share that because I think some good questions came up and I wanted to make sure I took a look at it. So everybody's comfortable. But basically, I'm calling this a pension fund stress test, which basically we're going to compare what the results would be if we issued a bond versus no bond, and look at the pension performance in 3 different markets: a bull market, a bear market, and then an average market. So if you would, next slide. So we're comparing bond issuance versus no bond, and that's being presented here to the County Board of Commissioners. Next slide, please. So the objective in this stress test was to look at 10 years of performance under 3 market conditions. The middle scenario is when MERS exactly hits its 6.93%, expected return. And the bear market scenario would be 3.8% compound annual growth rate, which that number was derived by looking at MERS returns for the last 35 years, looking for a block of the 10 consecutive years that it performed the worst. And then on the bull market scenario, looking for a block of 10 years where it did its best, and it was 11%. A constant in this analysis was that the county would continue to pay what it's paying today in unfunded liability, to pay down our unfunded liability, and that is $6.4 million a year, just to pay down our pension debt. Next slide, please. The result was the bond scenario won in every market environment. In the expected market, where the market returned 6.93%, we end up with $5.3 million more in assets than with the bond than without the bond. In a strong market, a bull market, it was $16.1 million more in assets. And in a weak market, the bear market, we still end up with $3.1 million more in assets than with the bond. Now, I want to clarify on the weak market, in both scenarios. In that scenario, both the bond and the no bond lost money. We gained and increased our unfunded liability, but when we had the bond, our liability didn't go up as much as if we didn't have the bond, and the difference was $3.1 million. Next slide, please. So when we look at this debt reduction, our metric is unfunded, actuarially accrued liability. The bond advantage, issuing a bond results in lower total debt across the board in each of the scenarios. In the middle and bull scenarios, the bond path returns pension debt to a significant surplus if we continued, making that $6.4 million payment for 10 years. And it's really up to the board, if we want to go more than 100%, or not. But in this analysis, I just wanted to compare apples to apples and just take everything out to 10 years. So, next slide, please. So a benefit of this is budgetary predictability. This is based on continuing to pay into the future what we are paying today. That's 6.4 million. We've demonstrated the ability to handle that in our budget. It's not going to cost us any more, moving forward. When we do issue a bond, the required MERS payment is reduced by about $1.5 million per year, which really says, we do have some flexibility if some catastrophe hit and that we were unexpected, we could pass a resolution to say we're going to cut back on our MERS, by one. We have the ability to cut back on MERS, or not MERS, but the payment, the 6.4 million by $1.5 million. We can't go any lower than that because we have our required MERS payment and the bond payment. So we have more flexibility for county general funds while still maintaining a healthier pension system. Next slide, please. So we do have an accelerated pay down. The MERS, because every year we'll be paying out of that 6.4 million, in addition to paying down the bond, in addition to paying off the MERS required bill, we have plenty of money and we're contributing to MERS excess principal. Because the bond pays off debt up front, less of the county's 6.4 million is wasted on interest. In a bull market, the bond scenario puts 2.6 million more into excess principal in year 10 alone. Next slide, please. So the final recommendation summary, the bond strategy provides higher asset growth, that's higher growth in pension assets, lower pension debt, lower MERS required annual contributions, higher principal reinvestment. Conclusion, issuing the bond is mathematically superior path for long-term solvency. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nakagiri. Any additional discussion? Commissioner Drake.
Commissioner Nakagiri, I remember and wrote down when we were at FAM on February 9 that the bonds would be in the neighborhood of 3.1% to the bond buyers. The paperwork we're looking at says the true interest cost will not exceed 6%. Is that apples to apples, or are we talking apples and oranges?
I'm not familiar with the phrase true interest cost, so I would defer that to, the rate, well, I would ask the PFM to elaborate on that. Because if it were 6.1%, we shouldn't be doing it.
So I'll invite you up to speak to that. Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Thank you for having me. Eric McLaughlin with Dickinson Wright, Bond Counsel of the county. The resolution before you includes a parameter limiting the maximum interest rate on any bond to be 6% or less. It's a ceiling. It's not authorizing 6% rate. The expected rate is estimated as of a current snapshot as the projections are prepared by PFM. But again, the parameter that you're reading in the resolution is just that. It's just an upward parameter. So bonds, when we do go to market, if any if any interest rate on any bond was greater than 6%, the county would not be allowed to accept that to be issued with a greater interest rate than 6%.
Somebody would come back to us and ask us if we wanted to go the higher amount? Is that what you're thinking? That we'd still have the ability to have a problem when I think we're currently thinking we're going to pay 3.1. That was what we talked about at FAM on February 9. And now it looks like we've got to possible 6%, is there an escape hatch in there for us if we don't want to pay 6?
Carrie Blanchett from PFM.
Mhm.
That is a maximum that Eric put in the resolution. You could lower that. We can't even fathom it's going to be near 6%. We're estimating it's just going to be over 3%, but you should put some kind of buffer in there so that if there is an increase in rates, that you're not having to come back to this board. Rates change every day. So you shouldn't put a 3.09, but whatever it is that you're comfortable. I think Commissioner did a fine job of doing the analysis and showing that in different markets, you're still going to save money by doing this. So you could use a lower threshold than 6%. We would normally put on any typical bond issue, we'd probably put a 5% or even lower on the term that you're looking at.
So Commissioner Nakagiri, I guess I'll raise this question to you. With the strategy to save the county a large sum of money, would you feel more comfortable or be open to lowering the interest rate that's in the resolution? Because otherwise, to your point, it wouldn't be practical.
Yeah, I'd be comfortable lowering it. The interest rate we're getting charged now is 6.93%. I do acknowledge, I did hear what Ms. Blanchett said about, not cutting it so close that we have to come back for another resolution. I guess it's what's the pleasure of the board in terms of an upper threshold. But before we chat about that, was there? I didn't see anything in the resolution that said that a specific term was going to be used, because in the analysis in my initial analysis, we looked at a 13-year term, and that was selected only because the term of the MERS loan was 13 years. So, but in doing some figuring, because we were making excess principal payments, we could actually go to a shorter term bond. Is there anything in the resolution that restricts our ability to change the term or to select the term of the bond?
There's a parameter in the resolution for a maximum term of 16 years, which would allow you to issue bonds up to that length, but it doesn't prevent you from issuing bonds at a shorter term.
Okay, that's very good.
That was my next question. Are we locked into 16?
No.
We're not. Okay. The final question is, I think we talked about it at FAM, and I think it was in the paperwork, that the first 2 years of the bond life where we owe money, we would pay interest only. I'm pretty sure that was a discussion, but did it make it into this document somewhere?
This document just gives you flexibility to fine tune the structure. So that is yet to be determined. Right now, the structure, as I understand it from the last that we have run, does defer the principal payments for the 2 years. But you have the ability to adjust the final, term, the maturity schedule, up to, when we schedule the sale date, really until when we schedule the sale date and proceed with the publication of all the offering documents, you'll have to know what that term is.
So right now, as written, there's no first 2 years interest only, even though that was important to Wes.
The county has the ability to dictate what that is.
I understand, but I'm looking at the black and white ink on paper. It ain't in there, is it?
It is not.
Normally would.
And
That's all I want to know. It wasn't. Good. So those are the 3 concerns I had.
Yeah, I'm personally not, this is kind of a will of the board. I'm not concerned that it's specifically not listed in the resolution that it's 2 years of interest only. I think it raises a question of when does the decision have to be made on, the term of the bond, and you said, and the number of years of interest only, you said it right before the sale, and about how much, if we were to proceed at normal speed moving forward, how much time do we have?
Optimally, it would be 10 days before the sale.
Okay,
Because traditionally the county, because of your favorable credit, we issue the bonds at a competitive sale. So normally, in order to really 10, do you want more than that?
10 is fine.
10 days. By the time you have the legal publication that has to go in the paper and we publish the offering document, we will need to know by that time.
okay.
Now, we can fine tune the structure after we get the interest rates back. But you can't change the term, the maximum term of the bonds or when the principal starts.
So when would you estimate that is the drop dead date, the 10 days before the sale of the bond? When would that be? What is there?
Do you have a, Sarah, timeline? I do.
Are we talking a few weeks, a few months?
So the longest time, part of the process is going to be obtaining the credit rating, because the credit rating agencies don't move really fast. So usually that's a good 3 to 4 week process. So you're going to have at least that amount of time to make that decision. And, we won't proceed until you're ready. So.
Mr. Chair, it seems to me like there's going to be a lot of, or several, last minute decisions or decisions that we may not be able to make in a timely manner as a board. So I am assuming that does this document give the chair the right to make those decisions on our behalf? Is that where, or are we going to have another meeting to approve the final dotting of the i's and crossing of the t's?
The resolution before you designates the county administrator and the chief financial officer as the authorized officers of the county to make the decisions that you're discussing right now, such as the structure of the debt, the final structure of the debt, the interest payment dates, the final interest rate on each maturity of the bonds, the redemption features of the bonds. All those are determined at the time of the sale based on the bids that are received.
So our administrator and our new chief financial officer would be making those decisions. That's the, because are they kind of perfunctory, or this is the best deal? It's not as though we're making.
Given the questions about the detail, we would obviously work with Gary as a sponsor, probably bring in the board chair and maybe before we finalize those things. But that's typically how it works with the bond. The meetings are authorized to finalize it. Okay. We would only do that according. This is a board resolution. Sure. It's coming from the board, so we wouldn't do that without first. Whether it's a formal meeting or whether it's.
Okay, because I just want to make sure how those decisions are going to be made and that we feel comfortable with that. So thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Commissioner Gross.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've kind of skimmed through this resolution language several times, and I didn't see any reference to the 6% cap. But be that as it may, I'm wondering, might it be in order for us to insert something to indicate that we would not be happy with an interest rate exceeding 4%?
So I'm glad you brought it up. Thank you. So I was going to entertain actually a motion to amend the resolution to change the interest rate. I will, solicit opinions. I personally, as one commissioner, would not want to proceed in this direction if the interest rate were to be above 3.5%. That's just my perspective and opinion. Commissioner Nakagiri, would you like to share?
Yeah, that was the number I thought. It's about just a little bit over half. We're cutting our interest rate in half, and I've seen enough in bond rates, interest rates. We're not in any danger of exceeding 3.5% unless some financial catastrophe happens.
And then otherwise, we really wouldn't want to proceed anyways.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
The markets took a big hit today, so who knows what might happen.
So.
And section
Yes.
18 contains the interest rate parameter or the true interest cost parameter.
Thank you, thank you. So is there a motion to amend Part B of Section 18 to change the interest rate from 6.00% to 3.50%?
I'll make that motion. We amend the
Support D.
resolution to change the rate to 3.5%.
I heard a motion made by Commissioner Gross and seconded by Commissioner Deaton. Any discussion on the proposed amendment?
Okay,
Commissioner Hausman?
what is the likelihood that that threshold will be passed? Or
Be
you
met?
don't have that kind of crystal ball?
If I had that crystal ball, I mean, we've certainly had times where in history where interest rates have went up by over 0.5% in one day. It's not happened very frequently. Even today, the markets, municipal bond market really did not get impacted by the geopolitical, at least not yet. But it's unlikely, but could it change over a 2 or 3 month period? Certainly it could, but then you have the ability to say, clearly you don't want to proceed.
Okay, so does that mean that we would then reconsider? That we could at this point, if we reach that threshold, the deal stops, right? But does it mean that that's our best offer and we will not, reconsider over that? I just hate to make a flat thing that we may reconsider and we may lose a month or two and get even a worse deal.
So if I may answer that, if the interest rate were to go above 3.5%, it would actually be financially disadvantageous for the county. So we don't have to do the bond from a financial standpoint. We're basically trying to do a advantageous refinancing.
So that's the tipping point for us.
Yes.
That's a tipping point.
Yeah.
So if we do more than that, we're throwing money away.
That would be correct. Commissioner Gross.
I would think that if, once the interest rate is determined, if we have any heartburn with it, we could call an emergency meeting to discuss it and decide what to do.
That's very true. I would be very supportive of that if that came to be the case.
We don't want to lose the time issue.
If I may, with a competitive sale, you typically have to award the bonds, the sale that day. So an emergency meeting isn't gonna, I think you have a certain notice requirement. So if that were to happen, or we could choose a different method of sale where you could do it a different day, but that's.
Would we have the flexibility of a couple hours? If nothing else, we could burn the phone wires?
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Nakagiri, with that being the case where we might not have too much flexibility, would you still be comfortable with 3.5 based upon your calculations, or would you think maybe even lower, like 3.3?
I'm comfortable with 3.5, although I will go back and re-look at my, stress test thing. I think the safety valve is our what's the formal term for a county administrator is going to be the bond. Yeah, that I think I trust Nathan will be listening to the board at least. Yeah. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Nakagiri. At this time, is there any additional discussion regarding the amendment? All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye. Call.
Oh, that's just for the amendment.
The amendment.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
So I heard 9-0 in support of the amendment. Any additional discussion regarding the now amended resolution? Commissioner Sample.
Yeah, I'd like to say that I think Commissioner Nakagiri did a really good job on this because I hadn't been in support of this idea. But you know, feelings wise, I maybe don't support it, but mathematically wise, I couldn't prove him wrong. So I really appreciate his effort into making me decide that this is pretty financially responsible for the county.
Thank you, Commissioner Sample. Commissioner Nakagiri?
No, Commissioner Sample and I had many good conversations, and I've said this in the past, I don't oppose people, asking questions of any resolution I put forward. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I think it's just good due diligence. And actually, Commissioner Sample posed a question to me that as I've been trying to explain to him, I said, I didn't do a very good job of explaining it to him. Therefore, I don't understand it well enough myself. So I went back to the drawing board and I put together that one report that I shared with the whole board on the analysis. And no, so I'm very appreciative of the discussion and debate. I am, I know that I probably have a reputation for asking lots of questions. I've gotten criticized by some county officers for, the time it takes to answer all my questions. But I am very appreciative of the board and doing due diligence and being ultimately supportive of, doing the right thing for the taxpayers. And so I do appreciate the questions, so.
Commissioner Gross.
As a follow-on to Commissioner Sample's comments, I too had some concerns about this. I'm not a CPA, I don't have an MBA, but I've had a lot of experience in accounting and financial matters. And from time to time in my experience, there's been situations where engineers have delved into financial matters and they've missed a boat someplace along the way. And but I think in this case, Commissioner Nakagiri's done a fine job. There's been times I thought perhaps he was out of his element financially, but I think this is going to be a good deal for the county, and I'm very supportive of it.
Thank you. Commissioner Drick.
The record is very important in this regard. We're talking about 12 million bucks. On page 230 of your agenda, which is paragraph 9 of the resolution entitled Bond Form, it says the bond shall be substantially in the form of attached Exhibit A. Maybe my printer made a mistake, but I don't see an attached A bond form. I'm wondering if any other commissioner got a bond form attachment A, because we ought to have it in the record at least for future. Does anybody have the bond form in their packet?
So
I have my 234.
I don't have it in the packet. As you noted, I believe I did see a draft copy. I think now it was almost a month and a half ago, emailed to the board from legal counsel, or emailed to our administration and forwarded to the board. So I did have a chance to look through the bond form at that time.
I'd like
Well,
it
what-
attached.
On page 234, what number?
No,
No.
page 230.
Pardon?
230, page 230, number 10, or excuse me, number 9. There's supposed to be an Exhibit A, and I don't have a fight with the form. I just want to make sure the form is in the record when we have our clerk creating the correct record today.
I don't have a copy of it.
Okay.
So we need a copy to the clerk.
Okay.
I take it you have the form
I
on
have a
hand.
copy, I have a copy of both Exhibit A and Exhibit B that I can provide to you, or I can provide to the clerk.
Would you like to review it right now?
I'm happy if it gets to
I
our
have a
clerk.
copy.
Okay.
Do you want my copy?
So what we'll do is.
Council can give it.
What we'll do is, we will provide Clerk Hundley, Madam Clerk, with a copy of Form A.
And B.
inform.
Apparently, there's a B, right?
Exhibit A is the form of the bond and Exhibit B is the form of the notice of sale.
Yes. So the resolution, number 9 does not speak to Exhibit A, but we can have both exhibits added to the resolution and then added to the full agenda, for documented record. And I'll make sure that happens.
We'll have a good record then.
What page was it?
Any additional questions or comments?
Thank you, Council.
When you are ready, we will proceed with a roll call vote, but no rush. I know there's a lot to.
That's okay.
No.
Just making sure that I have a note that we need to add those to the permanent board packet. So thank you. So we have the resolution 2026-02022 as amended. So Commissioner Nakagiri,
Yes.
Commissioner Drick,
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton,
Yes.
Commissioner Panovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Gross,
Yes.
Commissioner Helserman,
Yes.
Commissioner Domas,
Yes.
Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution authorizing an additional contribution to MERS in fiscal year 2026?
So moved, Nakagiri.
Second Sample.
Any discussion? Commissioner Gross.
Yeah, I have a question on this. In the therefore be it resolved, it says that we hereby authorize an additional payment in the amount of $12,756,000. But yet the bonds are going to be for 12.9, so there's a difference of 144,000. I'm wondering what is that for?
The reason for the difference is the actual cost of the tower project from essentially the general fund was this figure here, 12.756 million. The 12.9 was a ceiling, so to speak, a threshold, not to exceed. Additionally, the 12.9 would allow for the bond proceeds, or a very small portion of it, to be utilized for the expenses incurred for bonding. Commissioner Drick.
Is my understanding correct that the 12,756,000 that we're gonna send to MERS in this resolution is dependent upon the sale of the bonds? We're not, if the bonds don't go through, we're not making the payment, are we?
That's correct, that the payment is dependent upon the bonds.
Where does it say where does it say in here that it's dependent? Or contingent? My second, be it further resolved, says, Board of Commissioners authorizes budget amendments. Or do I have a defective packet?
It's under a whereas, it's not under, you may want to specify. The last whereas says we'll make it following the full reimbursement of the general fund for expenses incurred for the public safety tower project, but again, that's a whereas, so. That means we couldn't do this without being reimbursed.
And the reimbursement is the bond money,
Yes.
as long as everybody understands that. Thank you.
May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Nakagiri,
Yes.
Commissioner Drick,
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton,
Yes.
Commissioner Panovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Gross,
Qualified, yes. I approve it, but I wish maybe we could have just put 10 million in instead of 12.
Commissioner Helserman,
Yes, unconditionally.
Commissioner Domas,
Yes, absolutely.
and Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. At this time, we'll proceed into a closed session to discuss item 15, resolutions for consideration continued. We will continue the open session following our closed session. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a motion to move into closed session for the purpose of collective bargaining negotiations?
Motion to move in closed session, Sample.
Support Deaton.
Moved by Commissioner Sample, supported by Commissioner Deaton. May we have a roll call, please?
Correct. Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yeah.
Commissioner Drick.
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Panovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Gross.
Yeah.
Commissioner Helserman.
Yes.
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We are now in closed session.
Commissioner, I'll let you know when I have everybody in the waiting room.
Welcome back. We are now in open session. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution approving the tentative agreement for a 3-year agreement between the Livingston County Courts, the Livingston County Board of Commissioners, and the Michigan Association of Public Employees representing court employees?
So move, Halverman.
Moved by Commissioner Hauserman, supported by Commissioner Gross. Any discussion? All those roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Helserman.
Yes.
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yes.
Commissioner Drick.
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Panovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Gross.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution approving the tentative agreement for a 3-year agreement between the Livingston County Sheriff Department, the Livingston County Board of Commissioners, and the Police Officers Labor Council representing sergeants?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second, Sample.
Moved by Commissioner Domas and seconded by Commissioner Sample. Any discussion? May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yes.
Commissioner Drick.
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Panovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Gross.
Yes.
Commissioner Helserman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution approving the tentative agreement for a 3-year agreement between the Livingston County Sheriff Department, the Livingston County Board of Commissioners, and the Michigan Association of Police representing sheriff lieutenants?
So move, Sample.
Support Deaton.
Any discussion? May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yes.
Commissioner Drick.
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Panovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Gross.
Yes.
Commissioner Helserman.
Yes.
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution approving the tentative agreement for a 3-year agreement between the Livingston County Sheriff's Department, the Livingston County Board of Commissioners, and the Livingston County Deputy Sheriff's Association representing correction officers?
So move, Gross.
Support, Helserman.
Any discussion? May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Gross.
Yes.
Commissioner Helserman.
Yes.
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yes.
Commissioner Drick.
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Panovich.
Yes.
And Commissioner Fiani.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution approving the tentative agreement for a 3-year agreement between the Livingston County Sheriff Department, Livingston County Board of Commissioners, and the Fraternal Order of Police Labor Council representing field services?
So move, Halverman.
Support Domas.
Moved by Commissioner Hausman and supported by Commissioner Domas. Any discussion?
I'd just like to
Yes.
say something. I want to thank our team and each of these teams for their coming together. I think these are agreements that are good for the county and good for our employees. That's what I like.
Thank you, Commissioner Hausman.
And I think that's what we like, so.
May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Helserman.
Yes.
Commissioner Domas.
Yes.
Commissioner Sample.
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yes.
Commissioner Drick.
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Panovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Fiani.
Yes.
Commissioner Gross.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the claims dated February 23rd, 2026, and the payables dated January 24th through February 8th, 2026?
So move Sample.
Pay the bills, support Deaton.
Moved by Commissioner Sample and supported by Commissioner Deaton. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 9-0. At this time, we have the second call of the public this evening. If anyone wishes to address the board, please present a card to Clerk Hundley. You will have 2 minutes.
I've got 2 cards at the time. Steve Williams from Marion Township, followed by Nathan Bird.
So I appreciate the efforts put into all the financial details and examining the bond, et cetera, but you guys understand that if somebody is sitting out there watching this meeting, they're going to come to the conclusion that you guys don't give 2 shits about the kids in this county or the families who are paying all the bills. All the money, all the focus is on the money. Think about the people, even though they're too young to vote. Remember, you heard Hannah's testimony. That woman will not get back those 5 days that she spent in jail, which was illegal because Judge Kavanaugh ruled it illegal. I'm not an attorney, but whoever the last one to rule is wins. It was illegal, and the county is still trying to charge that woman $180 a day for the time she was put in jail illegally. Her kids do not get that time back. They don't get the time back. They were sent away from both parents because dad went to jail for a real reason. I've talked to you before about the phone time that my stepson does not get with his mom. This was in the judgment divorce from the beginning that was written by his bio father's attorney. It's been reinforced by 2 judges in Macomb County and by Judge Hattie here. And every time that's denied, you know, what kind of a sicko says it's okay to not let a kid talk to his mom or her mom, right? And now on page 4 of that attorney's recommendation that she put out on the 16th of February, she says, oh, provision J, phone call with child. She recommends that it be stricken and removed. Why? Because the bio dad complains about it. You know, I've told you this before, we got a Gab Watch phone, so he couldn't even complain that it was his phone time. Gab Watch, if you don't know what it is a phone. It will only dial or receive the calls that were programmed into the phone. It won't take pictures, it won't access the internet. It's a perfectly safe method. And we gave it to Gavin so he could call his mom. What did Forrest Putman do? He stole the phone. I had to go to the Roseville Police Department. This is when Mr. Putman was living in the drug dealer house. Remember I told you about that before? Had to go to Roseville to get our property back. Let's see a little focus on the families and the taxpayers.
Nathan Bird, Heartland Township is the last card I have.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'll be brief. I wanted to thank you for allowing us to double fill the CFO position temporarily. Joe Mangan is here, our new CFO. I appreciate your appointment of Joe. He's probably feeling a lot of pressure after everything he heard about Cindy today. And so I want to make sure he was welcomed today to get started. Cindy is going to be with us for a few more weeks, and she'll still be our primary CFO while the training's happening, and then we'll transition it over to Joe middle of March or so. But again, I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to allow us to have that period of training, which is very important. And I also just wanted to publicly welcome Joe to the team today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to participate in the call of the public?
Yes, Commissioner, I have Alex Guyton Flores.
If you could just state your name and municipality just for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Alex Guyton Flores. I am from the city of Howell. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Alex. As I said, some of you may recognize my last name. My husband serves on Howell City Council, but I'm speaking tonight on my own behalf because you touched on something that's a passion of mine. Professionally, I serve as the early on supervisor for all of Ingham County through the Ingham Intermediate School District, where I oversee early intervention services for infants and toddlers with developmental delays and disabilities. I just wanted to thank Commissioner Gross for mentioning Great Start Livingston earlier, and I appreciate this board's attention to efforts that support families and young children in our county. Commissioner Gross, you might have also learned about this through your connection with Great Start Livingston, but I just wanted to highlight it here as well. I'd like to share what I see as a recent win for Livingston County. The introduction of Help Me Grow. Neighboring communities, including Ingham County, have been implementing this for some time, and we've seen how instrumental it can be. Help Me Grow connects families with resources that already exist in the community when parents have concerns about development or need help finding childcare, healthcare, or parenting resources. It provides a centralized access point to guide them quickly to the right support. So as I listen to some financial discussions tonight, I want to note that early intervention is not only beneficial for families, it's also cost effective for communities. Research has found that every dollar invested in high quality early childhood support can yield up to $13 return over time through improved developmental outcomes, increased earnings, and reduced social costs. So this comes from an economist, James Heckman, out of the University of Chicago. So I'm not associated with Help Me Grow in Livingston County, unfortunately, but I just wanted to recognize this progress and encourage you to continue learning about this initiative as it develops as a win for our county. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on Zoom who wishes to participate in the call of the public?
No, Commissioner, I do not see any.
Thank you. At this time, the second call of the public is closed. We move on to commissioner comments. I will lead the commissioner comments off by just noting that State Representative Jason Wolford provided our retiring CFO, Cindy Arbanis, with a tribute on behalf of the state of Michigan. He was very impressed with her, what I'll call historic career, and he wanted to make sure that she was appropriately recognized. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to attend this evening, and we hope that, well, he wasn't feeling well. He may be coming down with a cold, so we hope that he feels better soon. So, Commissioner Helserman.
Could we have that, the text of that put into the record?
I have no objection to it. If our CFO has no objection to it, we can, I can run it by her and, if in a printed form, is that what you're?
So it'd go into the minutes of the meeting. Is that possible?
Is it?
Run a copy of it.
To the bound book, that does create, you know, I don't know how long the recognition is. We have not done that in the past. The minutes go into an actual bound book. If you would like it to be part of the official board packet that is maintained in the clerk's office, that would be much more efficient.
That's good. If that can be worked out.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Helserman. Any additional comments? Commissioner Nakagiri.
Yeah, just a brief comment. There were a couple of comments earlier about the poor shape of the roads. And I guess it's reasonable to conclude that our governor failed in her promise to fix the damn roads. That's all I have.
Commissioner Sample.
I don't know who got an opportunity to watch the hockey game.
Everybody.
But it was fantastic. That's all I know. So that's about it.
Thank you, Commissioner Sample.
Michigan is the only state that's north of Canada. Detroit, the city of Detroit is north of Canada.
Thank you, Commissioner Helserman.
Just for you to know that.
Madam Clerk.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I should have said something at the call to the public. I want to point out that the Elections Division is going to be closed Wednesday afternoon and all day Thursday and most of Friday morning. All of us are required to do 2-year training with the Bureau of Elections to maintain our election accreditation. So we will be, the entire Elections Division will be attending elections training with the Bureau of Elections for 2-year certification training. So the Elections Division will be closed.
Thank you.
So I hate to do that, but we all have to have the training. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move, Helserman.
Support Deaton.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
The clock did not move while we were in our
We are
meeting.
adjourned. We are adjourned.
Time stood still.